sports is supposed to be this sweet escape away from the doldrums and the harshness of real life, man. But why do I pick teams that constantly just hurt my hat and kick me square in the nuts all the time? Always. All right, so earlier in the day, Liverpool drew against Man City at home at Anfield in a game where they should have gotten the 3 points, but sure, why not? And that's supposed to be my fun entertainment sport. And then with football, the actual football Americano, the Vikings just, come on, man. The Browns and Baker was just like, hey, you want to beat us now? How about now? How about you beat us now? How about now? You had so many effing chances and you didn't take advantage. So the Vikings fall 14-7 at home against the Cleveland Browns. And the Vikings got booed at home, and deservedly so, by the way. Like, U.S. Bank Stadium fans, Vikings fans, they don't broke no BS. Like, that was an absolute bottom of the barrel performance, back of the fridge, just like, what the hell? What the hell was that? I had to have this one. But good opponent, yes, but you're at home, you have momentum, you could have squared up the season at 2-2, and the Vikings just laid an egg. And at all various points of the game, it was the offense, it was the defense, it was just, it's unacceptable, man. And the Browns are good. They're not elite, but the Browns just bullied the Vikings. They ran the ball at will. They toyed with the Vikings offense. And like we mentioned, the only reason that the Vikings were still in the game was Baker Mayfield. If the Browns had started Keenum, or if they had some semblance of a top 15 quarterback, they would have won the game by 21 points. Easily. And, man, it's Kirktoberfest. I mean, Kirk came into this game with decent protection, played at MVP level. The offense was supposed to carry the team, but the Vikings drives, opening drive touchdown. Kirk was 6 for 6 for 59 yards and a tutty. He's like, oh, here we go. Going to score 40 today. And then punt, downs, punt, interception, downs, end of the game. Just great. Just fantastic. So I guess back to the drawing board. I guess we have a bad offensive line again. It's just rough. Just rough all the way around. We usually do 5 winners. We're only going to do 3 because I'm a little bit pissed off. So here we go. Here are the winners and losers from Vikings 7, Browns 14. Winner number 1, Danielle Hunter. So he got the Baker, brought him down, had 7 tackles as well. Danielle has 5 sacks on the season. Also got the pressure that resulted in Jefferson's sack. And sometimes it just feels like it's 99 versus the world, whether it's rushing the passer, whether it's stopping the run. It just seems like they can't get it together, even though Danielle, even though Kendricks, even though Harrison is given their all every single play. Maybe some people aren't. I don't know. Winner number 2, Justin friggin' Jefferson, followed up a good game against Seattle with a big-time cojones game against the Browns, 6 for 84 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Got doubled and got Denzel Ward treatment nearly every play all damn day long, but really stepped up in some high-leverage spots. I just wish could have done better for him. Lastly, winner number 3. Ooh, surprise. Winner number 3 is Blake Lynch. Had a couple of really nice special teams tackles, had 8 total as well as a pass breakup. He was on the field a lot more because the Browns play heavier packages, so the Vikings were in the traditional 4-3 a lot more often than usual. And he will be Anthony Barr's long-term replacement. Like Nick Vigil's play filled in well, but after Anthony Barr leaves this season, Blake Lynch is going to be that guy at that Sam spot, and I'm all for it, man. Honorable mention winners. So the Dalvin Cook ankle issue, left the game early, had some spark or early on. Didn't seem like Dalvin, but 80% of Dalvin is still better than most running backs in the league. Came back late in the game, gave the Vikings a spark in 3-minute offense. Man, KJ Osborne had a sick 19-yard back shoulder catch. Also had a nice end around. Would have been nice if he was used more in the game plan. Eric Kendricks and Xavier Woods each had 10 tackles. And yeah, I mean, Kendricks, man, they need more help. Kendricks needs more help. And this is supposed, the Vikings, we'll get to it. The Vikings' run defense is still piss poor. How can it possibly be? Well, Michael Pierce pressed the pocket, got some big penetration against the run, was a warrior out there with that shoulder elbow thing, but out in the second half, really missed him in the second stanza. Jordan Berry, yeah, I think Jordan Berry, like, his leg might fall off from punting so much. Like, he might have hip flexor issues on Monday, but he was a stud, flipping field position. He's been a really nice surprise for the Vikings so far. But it does suck when your punter's like, oh, hey, that guy's pretty good. Cameron Tiny Dancer came in for Brashad Breeland, who left on the first drive. He was down with the sickness again, and Dancer had a pass breakup with his helmet. Right? Had some really good coverage on OBJ all day long. Also, a couple nice run fills. See, if you don't piss and moan, you're going to get your chance, and then you play well. There you go. Dede had a big 3rd and 13 conversion. Oh, Dede Westbrook offensive sighting. Weird. Also, he didn't have any soul-crushing decisions on punt return, so for that, we thank you. And then Everson had a 4th down sack. Daniil applied the pressure. Everson had to clean up on aisle 5, and he did work against the run game as well. Losers. Buckle up. We might be here for a while. So the Vikings defense as a whole, like, they just simply could not get off the field, especially in the first half. They couldn't stop the run. Plus, you know it was going to be a long-ass day when it was 3rd and 20 at the end of the half, and they pick up 33 on a screen. Like, how is that possible? Then they set up the field goal. It's just, and now there's some great individual efforts out there. We talked about Daniil. We talked about Everson. We talked about Pierce when he's healthy and out there. We talked about Kendricks and Harrison. But as a whole, it just isn't clicking, man. Like, how do you get shredded against the run when you have Pierce and Diesel Dalvin Tomlinson in there? And also, Daniil is one of the best edge rushers against the run in the game. I mean, I don't get it. And the Browns were 7 of 18 on 3rd down. They ripped off 4.8 yards per carry on the ground. And like we mentioned, if the Browns didn't have Baker, like, if they had anyone who was considered in the top 20 in terms of quarterbacks in the National Football League, which I don't consider Baker, I mean, they run away with this game. Simply put. On paper, it is going to look like the defense had a decent game, but if you watched it, no, absolutely not, especially first half. And we said that one day, coming up soon, a very slow defensive performance in the first half was going to bite the Vikings in the ass. They were slow in the first half against Cincy and Arizona and Seattle. Respect, a couple halftime adjustments, and they slowed down those offenses in the second half. Same thing with the Browns, but it wasn't enough. On a day when the offense had its first off day of the season, the defense, even though they got right, it wasn't enough. It simply was not enough. And then Zimmer, this was the annual no call, no show game. So Zimmer, again, end of half game management, which we've bitched about constantly throughout his tenure and several times already this season. So the Browns point after debacle, where the Vikings had the wrong personnel in on extra point. That is on special teams coordinator Ryan Ficken, and also Sheldon, when he went all Chris Webber, tried to call a timeout, and the Vikings got to delay a game because they didn't have any. That's situational awareness, and that comes down to the head coach. And then the Browns went for it from the 1, and then they got it. And so that's on the defense again. And then also, at the end of the game, when the Vikings were still down 14-7, they were huddling. They were running the ball deep in their own territory with under 3 minutes left. And you could tell what they were trying to do with the play calling is that they were trying to milk the clock. Like, they're trying to leave as little time as possible for Baker and the Browns. Even though the defense had done good against Baker in the second half. Score and then worry about it. You got 2 cute by half. And then you got behind the sticks. And then you just couldn't pick up a first down when you needed it. And that killed that drive. Offensive line conceded too much pressure against the Browns, even when the Browns were just rushing 4. Like, they were getting it with the Maliks and with Clown Shoes and with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, he left the game towards the end because I think he was just exhausting from bench pressing Rashad Hill all day. Like, I know you don't want to do that to a rookie, but I had half of mine just throw Darisaw out there at left tackle in the second half, right? Also, just not picking up blitzes. Tack McKinley got there with a sack. Like, when your offensive line makes Tack McKinley look competent in the NFL, that's a bad offensive line, man. That's a bad day. Also, it's just simple things like twists. They got pressure with 4 constantly, and that comes down to communication, a little TNE, a little stunt, a little It's rough, man. For how good they played in the first 3 weeks and against a couple of legit pass rushers, they fell on their ass today. At home. And then Cousins, trickle down offensive nomics. Cousins completely stagnant after the opening drive, and a lot of it was offensive line related. Like, he got pressure. He started seeing ghosts in the pocket. He started pumping and pulling down the ball before he really had to. He had that really bad interception where Thielen was not open on the post. I think that was just more frustration, just trying to make something happen. And it was not a good Kirk Cousins day today. And yeah, it goes straight to no Dalvin, lack of running game, offensive line was a mess, not getting time. It comes down to things that we've seen from Kirk Cousins the previous 3 seasons. Like, if you get a little bit of pressure on Kirk Cousins, he will give it to you. But he didn't at times in the first 3 weeks. That's why he was legit. But then he got exposed again. Back to the drawing board. The offensive line and Phil Rauscher got to get their stuff back together. And then, you know, it feels tacky complaining about the refs, but they were involved in some really high leverage plays in the game. So the Kendricks 4th down defensive holding on DPJ, that's about as chicken bleep as you can get. Like, it was away from the play. Yeah, you swallow your whistle on those game-changing plays like that. Like, that basically swung and gave the Browns a touchdown, where the Vikings would have had a big-time stop, and they would have kept the Browns out of the end zone for their only touchdown of the day. And so just think of how that killed momentum on a part of the play that wasn't even in the scope. No, and then Thielen was also interfered with on the final play, but you got to play better than the ref. And plus, they're never going to call DPI or OPI or anything like that on what's considered a Hail Mary, even though it wasn't really a Hail Mary. Gronklin, so his holding penalty wiped out a monster Cousins the JJ throw in the second half. Also, he missed Denzel Ward as a free blitzer, and he had a drop on the screen. But other than that, Gronklin is really, really good today. And then also, Chase McLaughlin. I guess we didn't need him. 2020 Vikings practice squad guy. Well, at least Greg Joseph didn't miss today. So for that, we thank you. But it's frustrating, man. I would almost feel better if the Browns came in and beat the Vikings 42-0. Like, I honestly would. But the fact that it's just so frustrating that the Vikings are 1-3 and they still have positive point differential just speaks to how they've given this season away so far. Through the first quarter of the season, that is the theme. It's like, all of these opportunities, they could easily be 4-0, they could be 3-1, they could be all these things, and they're a couple freak plays away, but they just cannot capitalize. They just cannot get over the hump, and that's what's most frustrating about them. So, this team is still good and is dangerous on a given day. If Cousins can get protection, if the pass rush can get going, if the Vikings can build up a lead and are able to play downhill and against a team that isn't as good at running the ball as the Browns, I mean, they can get it. They certainly can. They got the Lions next Sunday in a get-right game. Lions just busted 24-14 against the Bears. So 2-3. Then going to Carolina. Bring it on. But yeah, this one hurts. This one hurts, like, right down deep, like in the nether regions. It hurts. But anyways, your thoughts on our thoughts. Vikings fall to 1-3 after losing to the Browns 14-7. Who are your winners and losers? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.